You'll end up broke just like your mother did, my stepmother Gloria announced, her voice carrying across the entire restaurant like she was delivering a sermon. Worthless then, worthless now. At least your father had the sense to upgrade. Every head in the upscale steakhouse turned toward our table, and my 16-year-old daughter Ivy squeezed my hand so hard I thought my fingers might break. What Gloria didn't know, what no one at that table knew, was that my grandmother had made me the sole trustee of the Aldridge Family Trust 20 years ago, and every cent Gloria spent came through my signature. My father sat at the head of the table, his 70th birthday cake untouched in front of him. He looked uncomfortable but said nothing. He never said anything when Gloria attacked me. In 23 years of marriage to her, he'd never once defended his only daughter. Gloria, perhaps we should, my half-brother Preston started. What? I'm stating facts. Lenora's mother died with nothing. Absolutely nothing. And look at her daughter. Gloria gestured at me with her wine glass. 42 years old. Working at some little nonprofit. Driving that ancient car. She couldn't even afford a proper gift for her father's birthday. My gift was a first-edition copy of my father's favorite novel, found after months of searching. It had cost $800. But Gloria had already dismissed it as used. Grandma Gloria, Ivy said quietly, please stop. Oh, sweetheart. Gloria's voice dripped with false sympathy. I know it's hard to hear, but someone needs to prepare you for reality. Your mother isn't going to be able to help you with college. She can barely help herself. Thank goodness your grandfather has resources. I felt Ivy trembling beside me. My beautiful, sensitive daughter who'd already endured years of Gloria's poison. Who'd come home from family gatherings asking why Grandma Gloria hated us. Who'd stopped wanting to visit my father's house because the atmosphere was so toxic. I think we're done here, I said, standing up. Running away? Typical. Gloria sipped her wine. Your mother used to do the same thing. Couldn't handle the truth. My mother died of cancer, I said evenly. She didn't run from anything. She died poor. That's what I remember. The silence at the table was absolute. My father stared at his plate. Preston looked horrified. His wife Melissa pretended to be fascinated by her napkin. Gloria's twin daughters from her first marriage, Brittany and Courtney, smirked like they were watching entertainment. Happy birthday, Dad. I took out my wallet and laid $500 bills on the table. Dinner's on me. We left. In the parking lot, Ivy finally let the tears fall. I hate her, Mom. I hate her so much. I know, sweetheart. Why does she say those things? Why does Grandpa let her? Because your grandfather is a coward. He's always been a coward. He let Gloria convince him that his first family was a mistake and his new family was a reward. But you're not a mistake. I pulled her into a hug. No, baby. I'm not. Neither was your grandmother. And neither are you. That night, after Ivy was asleep, I sat in my home office and opened a locked drawer. Inside was a thick folder I'd maintained for 20 years. The Aldridge Family Trust. My grandmother, my father's mother, had established the trust in 1985. It held the bulk of the Aldridge family wealth. Real estate, investment portfolios, business interests. Total current value, approximately $34 million. When Grandma Aldridge died in 2004, she made an unusual decision. She didn't leave the trust to my father. She left it to me, her only grandchild at the time. I was 22 years old, fresh out of college, still grieving my mother's death 3 years earlier. She'd included a letter explaining her decision. Asterisk, your father has no spine. He let that woman into our family and turned his back on you and your mother. He doesn't deserve to control this money. But he's still my son, and I won't let him starve. So I'm giving you the power, Lenora. You decide what he gets. You decide what's fair. I trust your judgment more than I trust his. Asterisk, the trust document gave me complete discretion over disbursements. My father received a generous monthly allowance, $15,000, which he believed came automatically. It didn't. Every month for 20 years, I had signed the authorization. Every vacation Gloria took, every car Preston drove, every shopping spree the twins enjoyed, all funded by checks I approved. They had no idea. I'd kept the secret for 2 decades because I didn't want power over my family. I wanted peace. I wanted my father to reach out because he loved me, not because he needed me. I wanted to be proven wrong about his weakness. I'd been waiting 20 years. Tonight, I stopped waiting. The next morning, I called Leonard Hastings, the trust attorney. Lenora, I've been wondering when I'd hear from you. Why's that? Because I had dinner at Morton's last night. I saw what Gloria did. I'm surprised you didn't walk over and tell them right there. That's not how I operate. I know. That's why your grandmother chose you. He paused. What would you like to do? I'd like to schedule a meeting. All beneficiaries. Tomorrow, if possible. I'll make it happen. And Leonard, don't tell them why. Just say there are trust matters to discuss. With pleasure. The meeting was held at Leonard's office downtown. I arrived early, sitting in the conference room with a cup of coffee and the complete trust documentation spread before me. They arrived together. My father, Gloria, Preston, Melissa, and the twins. Gloria swept in like she owned the place, designer bag on her arm, Botox-frozen face arranged in an expression of inconvenienced superiority. This better be important, she said, not acknowledging me. I have a spa appointment at noon. My father sat down across from me. Lenora? What are you doing here? She's the reason we're here, Leonard said, taking his seat. Shall I explain, or would you prefer to Lenora? I'll do it. I folded my hands on the table and looked at my family. The people who'd dismissed me for decades. The woman who'd publicly humiliated me in front of my daughter. The father who'd never once stood up for me. 20 years ago, Grandma Aldridge passed away. Her will was read, and the Aldridge family trust was addressed. What you don't know, what Dad chose not to tell you, is that Grandma didn't leave the trust to him. Gloria's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? She left it to me. Full control. Complete discretion over all disbursements. Silence. That's impossible, Gloria said. Robert controls the trust. He's always controlled it. Robert receives a monthly allowance from the trust. $15,000. That money requires my signature. Every month for 20 years, I've authorized it. My father's face had gone pale. Lenora, I can explain. You knew. You've always known. You just never told your wife because you were ashamed. Ashamed that your mother trusted your daughter more than she trusted you. Gloria stood up. This is a joke. Some kind of revenge fantasy. Robert, tell her. My father said nothing. Robert, it's true, he said quietly. Mother left the trust to Lenora. I didn't want anyone to know. I thought it would be temporary, that Lenora would eventually transfer control to me. And you never asked, I said. In 20 years, you never once called to ask about the trust. You never reached out except when you needed something. You just cashed the checks and pretended everything was normal. Gloria's face had gone from smug to furious. How much is in this trust? Leonard answered. Approximately $34 million in diversified assets. The number hung in the air. I watched Gloria process it. The shopping sprees, the country club memberships, the vacations, the cars. All dependent on my generosity. You can't do this, she said. That money belongs to the Aldridge family. You're not even a real Aldridge. Your mother was nobody. My mother was the only person who ever truly loved my father. And my grandmother knew it. That's why she gave me control. Because she knew you'd poison everything you touched. How dare you? How dare I? You announced to a restaurant full of people that I'd die poor like my mother. You've spent 23 years treating me like garbage. You convinced my father to skip my wedding. You forgot to invite me to family holidays. You told my daughter, your granddaughter, that she's worthless because of her bloodline. I never said worthless. You said it last night, at my father's birthday dinner, in front of everyone. I opened the folder and spread documents across the table. Here's what's going to change. The monthly allowance continues. Dad needs it, and despite everything, I'm not going to let my father suffer. But the extras stop. No more shopping sprees on the trust credit line. No more vacation home rentals. No more cars for Brittany and Courtney, who, by the way, aren't even Aldridges. Those girls are part of this family. They're your daughters from your first marriage. They have no claim to Aldridge money. That ends today. The twins looked stunned. Preston and Melissa sat in uncomfortable silence. Preston, I continued, your situation is different. You're grandma's grandson, even if she never met you. Your allowance continues, but with oversight. Monthly spending reports. No more bailing out your business ventures without a proper proposal. Preston nodded slowly. That's fair. It's not fair. Gloria shrieked. None of this is fair. Robert, do something. My father finally looked at me. Really looked at me, perhaps for the first time in decades. What do you want, Lenora? I want what I've always wanted. A father who acts like one. Who shows up for his grandchildren. Who doesn't let his wife publicly humiliate his daughter. My voice cracked slightly. I want you to be the man Mom thought she married. He was quiet for a long moment. I failed you, he said finally. After your mother died, I was so lost. Gloria was there, and she was strong, and I let her take over. I told myself it was easier. I told myself you were resilient enough to handle it. I was a 19-year-old girl who'd just lost her mother. I needed my father. I know. I'm sorry. Gloria made a disgusted sound. This is pathetic, Robert. She's manipulating you with a sob story. Gloria, stop. My father's voice had an edge I'd never heard before. Just stop. She stared at him like he'd grown a second head. Lenora's right. About everything. I've been a coward for 23 years. My mother knew it. My daughter knows it. The only person who doesn't seem to know it is you. Robert, I'm going to have a relationship with my daughter and my granddaughter. A real one. If you can't support that, we have bigger problems than the trust. I felt tears welling up. 20 years of waiting, and finally, my father was choosing me. I'd like that, Dad. Gloria gathered her bag with furious movements. This isn't over. I'll contest the trust. I'll get lawyers. Leonard cleared his throat. Mrs. Aldridge, I've been the trust attorney for 30 years. The documents are ironclad. Florence Aldridge knew exactly what she was doing. Any legal challenge would be expensive and futile. She stormed out. Brittany and Courtney followed, shooting me venomous looks. Preston stood and extended his hand. I'm sorry, Lenora. For all of it. I should have stood up to my mother years ago. It's not too late to start. Melissa hugged me on the way out. Thank you for giving him a chance. He's not like her. He's just been under her influence too long. After everyone left, my father remained. We sat in Leonard's conference room, two strangers who shared blood. Your grandmother would be proud of you, he said. I hope so. She used to say you had her spine, that you'd never let anyone break you. Mom helped with that. Before she died, she told me to never let Gloria make me small, to always remember who I am and where I came from. Your mother was extraordinary. I didn't deserve her. No, you didn't. But I'm grateful every day that she gave me you. We sat in silence for a while. I'd like to see Ivy, Dad said finally. Really see her. Not just at Gloria's staged holiday events. I want to know my granddaughter. She'd like that. She asks about you more than you know. I've missed so much. Then stop missing things. Show up. That's all any of us ever wanted. That evening, I told Ivy about the meeting. She listened with wide eyes. So you've been secretly rich this whole time? It's not about being rich, honey. It's about having choices. And about finally making people accountable for how they treat us. What's going to happen with Grandpa? He wants to try. To be a real grandfather. What do you think? She considered it. I think people deserve second chances. If they really want them. That's what I think too. And Grandma Gloria? I smiled. She'll have to learn that money doesn't protect you from consequences. Every dollar she spends now, she'll know it came through me. Every vacation, every shopping trip, every luxury, she'll remember this day. That's kind of poetic. Your great-grandmother had a sense of justice. I think I inherited it. A month later, Dad came to Ivy's school play. He sat next to me, watched his granddaughter shine on stage, and cried when she took her bow. She's remarkable, he whispered. She is. Like her mother. Like her grandmother. Like all the women in this family who were told they'd never amount to anything. He took my hand. The first time he'd held my hand since I was a little girl. I'm sorry I let you believe that. You were always enough. I was just too blind to see it. In the auditorium, surrounded by applauding families, I finally felt something I'd been missing for 20 years. Not vindication. Not triumph. Peace. Gloria had told a restaurant full of people that I'd die poor like my mother. But my mother didn't die poor. She died surrounded by love, with a daughter who'd carry her memory forward, and a legacy that Gloria would never understand. Wealth isn't measured in bank accounts. It's measured in the people who stand beside you when everything else falls away. By that measure, my mother was the richest woman I've ever known. And I intended to be exactly like her.